Welcome to 3Dimensions. This is a podcast series that we have started covering 3D printing businesses and people and founders related to 3D printing in India and international, but mostly for Indian audience. So this is the first time that I'm doing an offline podcast. So let's see how it goes. Today we have the CEO of Barelab here with us, Mr. Akhil Mohan. And could you please introduce yourself?
Hi. So as you said, I'm running Barelab here in Bangalore. We also have a branch in Lucknow. We are actually headquartered in Lucknow, and Bangalore is essentially the branch.
So a little bit more about your background and how you started off, and what did you do before starting Barelab?
Okay. So I have an engineering background, computer science to be precise.
Which college?
So I've done my graduation from JSS Noida,
Okay.
and then did my masters from BITS Pilani in Goa campus.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So after that, after JSS, I was working at Tech Mahindra, AT&T as the customer for Tech Mahindra. That was the profile. Then I went for my masters at BITS Pilani. After that, I have spent some time at Oracle.
Masters in?
Masters in software systems.
Okay.
Yeah, in the same field.
Okay.
Then I was at Oracle for around 3 years, I guess, a little more than that maybe. And then InstantPost started. Barelab is our brand. The company is InstantPost.
Okay. InstantPost is the main company.
Yes.
Okay.
Headquartered at Lucknow.
Lucknow. Okay. Can you tell us about what is InstantPost and what does it do? What do you do at InstantPost?
Okay, yeah. So I will probably start off with the reason how we came into being. So the reason was very personal. My mother, she is an independent writer into ancient Indian history, and she has written around 10 titles in 1980s.
Okay.
And till date, they are almost undisputed. Nobody has come up with a better text even now, like
Wow.
40 years later as well.
What does she write?
She
about?
writes on precisely iconography and in the ancient Indian history, School of Asian Studies in University of London. So they recommend her book as one of the prescribed books on the topic.
Okay.
And there are not more than around 100 books, South Asian studies, which are being prescribed in that field of iconography.
That's cool.
So when I started getting to know a little more about what it is, then there are very old age institutions like in Varanasi and other places who have been into existence for I think more than 100 years. Now when I interacted with people over there, so they remember her book as that yellow colored book.
Okay.
So it is kind of an icon, kind of a text that she has written, but still even today students don't have access to the text, which was very surprising for me. So that is how I started, that I should probably create a sort of a printing service that would cater for these kind of rare masterpieces that are not able to reach the audiences they should be available to. So you can say a D2C for authors is what I started with.
So InstantPost is related to book publishing.
InstantPost is about publishing content. I mean, it could be in book form. So I was trying to get her both in the book form as well as online, what we could do online for her. Okay. That is how I started. But then I started learning about the struggles of the printing industry. So it is a very, very difficult industry to breach into. There are so many hurdles in it. And that is when I decided that probably the printing part I have to own myself. That is the major background where I started getting into, you can say, machineries and everything. And then I realized that all of these machineries come from China or probably some other country. There are very, very few people who would do it over here, and they would do for bigger groups like Times of India and all to do their publications. No small scale solutions were available. So that is how my journey started, that if an author wants to start pushing out their content physical at that moment, or maybe even online, how could they do it with a very small machine? So the first machine that I built was automated binding machine, semi-automated at that time, that could very easily let you bind a book after printing pages and a cover. So
Which year was this?
2014, I guess, somewhere around that, 13 and 14.
Okay.
So that's where I started with this, and that brought my interest into machines. So gradually, as I started proceeding forward, I went to build a whole printing setup where you could, bring out books very fast, very quickly, and how quickly you can iterate those books to enhance content. And maybe every 6 months you could create a new edition of that book, or maybe even every 3 months if that is possible. So then I started understanding about manufacturing as a whole, what exactly it is. So it is funny enough to say that when I was exploring different manufacturing options, I thought 3D printing is one of the most stupid ideas to try out. Not realizing that after running around, almost 2 years, I would land up over here, that this is the only option that probably, could be done. So that is where I started with building a whole 3D printed printing setup.
Okay.
And that's how my journey into 3D printing started. And yeah, so the thing is that sort of still continues as the publishing part of it, that continues as a business. And then this took over kind of, as the majority of the effort, because I feel that probably 3D printing is the future. I mean, that's how I feel, probably all of us in the community also. So yeah, that's the initial starting story with 3D printing.
That's cool. What do you feel about the Bamboo Lab even over here?
Okay, this is my first experience. So far so good. I mean, we didn't have to do anything. We just had to start a print. So that's pretty amazing to look at. But I guess probably during this hour we will get to learn a lot more on how the print feels after taking it in our hands.
So currently, when you say you have a office in Lucknow as well as Bangalore, how many 3D printers do you have in each of them, or are these for the book publishing? Like, what is the distribution and
as a whole, we only handle the technology. So let's say if somebody wants to very quickly get a book done, very similar to how you would look at a 3D print, like you want to get a 3D print done, you want to get started with your content, maybe initial few prints to give it out to your friends, family, get feedback. So that is what we enable as fast as possible for the author. With a surrounding set of services, let's say you want to run a website, social media, everything around it. So that is what we would handle for you. So collectively we call it online reputation management. Okay. So anything, right? I mean, there are like these 4-5 platforms: Meta, Amazon, Google. So all of these platforms will make sure that your presence is felt and it's looking good. So that is what we would enable for you. And on the 3D printing side, obviously, if you would say, because even one order can be so huge that it can always outscale the book side. So I would say around 80% would be 3D printing, 80 to 85%.
okay?
That is just because of the volume of the industry. Nothing to say that we have less focused or more focused on either one, because they both form the value for us. I mean, the kind of ecosystem now that we are working on, we cannot do with only one of them. We will be concentrating on both.
In the 3D printing services that you have, who are your customers? Like, are these regular people like me who want to get a 3D printer done, or is it businesses who want it in scale, or are these startups in robotics who want a prototyping done? Who are like most of the people who order services from you, or is it 3D printing services, or what do you offer?
So we we have actually tried a little bit of everything, and we have almost failed at everything so far. I would say that probably failed in a sense. I would say that around 8 to 9 businesses we attempted in the period, and all of them failed because we realized that the one thing that is a problem is, as I was explaining you earlier also, that a lot of people either don't understand what is 3D printing, or they think that 3D printing is like magic. You just want something and that will get printed, which is not the case. 3D printing is just another manufacturing process. So when the reality sets in, all the glamour goes away. Then it becomes very mundane thing, unless you bring the creativity out in open and put that as a layer on top of 3D printing. So unless that happens, 3D printing in itself is not so useful to anyone. It's very similar to, if you go to a corporate office, they will have huge Canon printers on every floor, and you will see every employee struggling with getting their prints. So this technology has existed for so many years, but still everybody struggles to get that one print flawlessly done for themselves. And that's the same thing that happens with almost everybody in 3D printing also. Because when you look at a video on Instagram and people are talking about their end result, they're not talking about the grind that has happened before it. So nobody gets that quality output on day zero. And this is, I would not say that they're using a particular kind of machine or a particular kind of filament or resin or whatever it is. It's just that you have to learn that process, and that is super hard. So this is not possible for everyone. The ones who would want to take that grind into themselves are the ones who would be interested to do that as a hobby or probably something like that. But for majority of them, they want to build a brand, and those are the people who are our customers. Okay, that was fancy.
The jingle that says that the print is complete.
Okay.
Would you mind lifting the plate?
Yeah.
So you can just lift it like that.
Okay, so this is it.
Yeah, you can just you'll have to snap it. Other way also.
Okay.
So again, you'll have to rotate it 45 and
Okay, that's pretty amazing.
So this is a multicolor filament.
And I think the finish is really good, I would say.
What do you say about the print?
Print quality is fabulous. I think quite good at zero effort. So that's what I think matters the most. How quickly can you get it off your shop floor and get it packed and shipped to the customer? So I think that it does really, really well.
So again, like what you said, so summing up, what I understood is just 3D printing as a service is not going to be successful in long term. You have 3D printing has to be a part of your complete offering. Like you have brand development, you have website development on top of it, and content. So 3D printing just has to be a part that produces a product, and rest of the whole thing that your packaging, your deliveries, your content that you put out is what will make you stand out, and that is the ultimate thing that InstantPost and Barelab is gonna do and focus on, or is currently doing.
Correct, perfectly. So
Because everybody who has a printer is now a competitor. So that is how you have to separate yourself by showing what all you can add on top of it.
correct, that is there. And another thing would be, I would say that you need to retain the customer. That is very, very important. See, you can run only so many ads, and that is going to get you definitely the new customers. But the sustainability would probably come when those customers are going to make the second, third, or fourth purchase with you, which is not coming through ads, which is not coming through some external propaganda that you have to do for it. So that means there, like, all the margins are, in your pockets, and not some larger Godfather platform that is, taking the money out of it.
So in Bear Labs, you mentioned that you build your own printers, right? Can you take us a little about that? How did you think about building printers, and what all things goes into building a printer? Like, I have only worked on consumer printers. I've seen one printer being built, but it was just assembly. So can you tell about how that, like, a little bit brief? How do you build a printer, or why did you start building a 3D printer? Why not buy a printer that is already available?
Yeah, so I would go back to again that discussion on manufacturing, thinking of it like manufacturing. So there are two major reasons why I would say that my reason to start building the printer. One thing is the cost. Okay, so the printer has to come at a cost that is almost negligible. Okay. In now, when I'm saying the cost, I'm not talking about just the cost of the printer. I'm talking about the total cost of ownership of the printer, maybe across 2 years, 3 years time frame. Okay, and maybe more than that. We would want that our printers keep running. So how we look at them is that is also the power consumption. So the whole, I would say, the ecosystem that gets created, that is so important to be understood by a business, whoever is trying to set up a farm of their own. So there are two aspects to it. One aspect is what you're building right now, and what you would build next. Okay, so today maybe our focus is probably on multicolor printing. Our focus maybe on a few other features. Tomorrow there will be some other new tech. Now all of the printer manufacturers, by the virtue of their business, would want to make sure that they could sell more printers. So they will always hold you back on features. They will release a newer feature in a newer printer model that you will have to keep on replacing your fleets.
Right.
Okay, so that cost is going to be a recurring cost. You may feel like you own that asset, but the technology is going to move so fast going forward. It's not like multicolor came this decade, and next decade the next invention is going to come. It may come within next year itself. Now, when you're having your own printers, the benefit that you have is you can do those upgrades as and when you like on as many number of the printers you like. So you don't have to necessarily say that unless you deprecate your current fleet is only when you can go forward. Second benefit that you get with your building your own printers is they're made to spec. So the cost is something that you can bring dramatically down. I would say by a factor of, I think at least 20 to 30% is the cost that remains. Rest of it is just to make it consumer grade.
Okay.
That the rest of the money that you're spending on is the ease and the comfort of being able to use it. But what happens is all the difficulties are going to be in your maybe first 10 builds, not more than that. Beyond that, it's all about making sure that, let's say if you today have 10 printers, tomorrow when you will have 100 printers, how will you do the remaining automation that is required? For example, drying the filament alone will become a pain. Making sure that for 100 printers every day you have 100 spools that are dry. So how do you automate that? How do you circulate the air in that vicinity? How densely can you pack your printers in a very small space? So let's say if you are running your farm in Bangalore, real estate is so expensive. And that is how the situation is going to be. Now, there can be a scenario where you may say that you want to put up 3,000, 4,000 printers, probably how Slant 3D does. Okay, but that probably will work only for economies like US, because they know that there is a demand like that. So putting 3,000 printers is a no-brainer over there. But putting 3,000 printers over here probably could be a very expensive game. It could be a bet kind of a situation. So over here, you would want that your printers are built exactly how you want them to be. So for example, we are able to do multiple kind of tests. So we are also trying to figure out that how we can do towers where you have triple deck printers. So one printer, so a single frame having 3 print beds.
But it's the same machine.
It's the same machine.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it's ultimately almost independent, but the frame, all the infrastructure that can be common for the whole printer, so that we can vertically mount it. So if you have to mount it, you will have to buy racks, you will have to
Right.
do those custom racks and
Yeah.
a lot of other stuff. Okay, so you are investing money into all of that. Okay, now let's say you did it for this printer. The next model that is coming in maybe does not fit in that space, or is inefficiently moving on over there. Then you are again going to restructure. So how can we make sure that the rack and the printer are the same thing? There's no concept of a rack at all. It's just the printers alone, which are handling everything. Then things like auto ejection. So you could possibly in 10 printers, 20 printers, it's fairly okay to keep on going to each printer and ejecting the print, starting the new print. How do you auto eject when you have way too many printers? So those are also things that you could achieve very easily because the whole design is in your control. Then another part that comes into picture, I would say, is going to be around how would you train your staff. So initial 4 people, 2 people is okay. I mean, you could be friends, you could be technically equipped to understand everything, but at some point you will start hiring staff. Okay, so there the real problem comes in. So right now, this is what my immediate goal is. How can I hire somebody who does not have formal education? So in my Bangalore farm, the person who is working, Avinash, he has no formal education. He has probably very limited vocabulary, so he cannot understand, go to the Bamboo Lab A1. So all printers are A, B, C, D. So I was working on printer A, I was working on printer B. Okay. But he can build a whole printer. Okay, from scratch, end to end, everything he can do. He can tell you if it's vibrating unnecessarily, what can be a possible issue. But if you start asking him did you tension the belt properly? So he wouldn't know because he cannot understand, what tensioning is, what impact it will have. But he does know that if the tension is not good enough or other problems are there, how to fix it. So these are people who have a lot of passion to work in technology. They may not have an opportunity, let's say, or probably they don't have a way to interact with this technology or any other technology. That is the problem. So their interaction can only be pictographic. So unless they see an image of something, they cannot understand. So training the staff is a huge pain. Now let's say today you trained them on Bamboo Lab A1. Tomorrow you are trying to get A2 or whatever the new model is. Imagine the retraining effort. When you have your own printers, once you have trained them, they know that indefinitely. So, I mean, today, if something happens, he will not come to me. He will simply place an order, take a reimbursement from me, fix, let's say, a nozzle or something, whatever he's swapping. So, because all those parts also are locally sourced. So, we have made sure that nothing is dependent on something to be sourced from China or some other place. Whatever is locally available is also very important. So our downtime for a printer could be only a couple of hours. So let's say RoboCraze or some other local store that may have stock, you can just quickly get it from them, or SP Road Market in general. So like that. So those are the benefits, I would say,
of having an own printer.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Like you can scale it according to what you want. You can add the features that you require. You can remove the features that a consumer printer does not require.
Yes.
Can you tell me about what do you first of all, do you make your own filaments or do you outsource
Yes,
them?
custom. So the thing is, we do prototyping for filaments. So for that, we are building our own filament extruder.
Okay.
So that would allow us to test and experiment with different materials, colors, and a lot of other things. It could also do kind of a small scale production as well. Let's say.
Why not buy it?
No, we do buy. I mean, it's
Okay.
not like we don't buy. So a number of times it's a customer request that they will say that they have experience with a particular brand.
Okay.
So they will say that we would want to use this brand filament. So it's not like we do not buy, but we have the branded filaments. We have our custom makes also that we outsource to manufacturers in different parts of the country, depending upon who has what.
Is there a huge price difference that you? Why would you have custom? Like which features are you looking for to have it in your custom filaments than which is not available already?
Okay, so over there, there are two things. One thing is surety of quality. So I would probably take a step back on how filaments are made. Maybe that is important to understand. So filaments, when you say that there's a certain brand of filament who is a filament maker and they're supplying you spools of filament. Okay, so they are processing the raw material and giving it the shape of the filament and binding it on the spool. But the raw material is coming from a company like NatureWorks, or it could be Total Corbion. So NatureWorks owns around 80% of the market, I would say.
Of India or
globally?
Oh.
Yeah, they are the dons.
Okay.
So and they also control pricing to a good extent. So they are really, really good at what they do. That is why they are able to achieve this.
What does
place.
NatureWorks provide?
So they provide these granules, which are called pellets. So these are small beads of whatever plastic. So they just don't do plastic for 3D printing industry. They do PLA as a whole. That's their focus. So they would be giving it to the packaging industry where they will make these bioplastic packagings, the poly bags and all that. So they would do for them also, and a lot of other industries too. They serve. 3D printing is one of the focus areas, kind of a niche for them as well. But still, in 3D printing also, they own quite a good part of the market. It's not a small. So it would again be easily, 80% is what they own.
So this brings us to one of the 3D printing business models. Like when everybody is going and making a 3D printed product and selling, this is the time to either sell the printer, or the best thing would be to sell the filament, because when everybody's entering into 3D printing and are interested in selling the product, the best thing to do seems like making the filament for them.
Yeah, I mean, this has been happening time and again. I mean, I think this question has been floating around for a very long time. Is it better to do a 3D printer or filament? But it depends majorly on what kind of niche we are looking at. So let's say if you are running a 3D printing service, to compare it with the print shops that we see today, like Printo, or maybe those shops which are trying to print anything, whatever the customer walks in with, whatever is their order, they will try to fulfill that. So for them, those kind of businesses, if you're targeting, maybe making filaments is a better idea, because making 3D printers has been. I mean, this is just not with 3D printers. Even with printers that Canon and others do, they don't make a lot of profit on that. They make money on the ink that they supply. So in a similar way, that in that case, 3D printer filaments would be the better business. When you look at, let's say, niche down categories, for example, if somebody is specializing into wood-like finishes, okay, so those are the people who would need a lot of capability, both in terms of material as well as in terms of printer as well. So both would need to work really, really well. So I think there you may be able to make a good printer and then pitch it. So there it will make sense. For example, the dental industry. So how Fractal works is targeting the medical industry.
So that is resin based, right?
Resin, majorly resin. There are other tech also in that.
Okay.
But yeah, so it would depend on what category we are talking about.
So I would like you to answer these in so let's rate some 3D printing business models. So
Okay.
I will say some business models. You can give it a rating of 1 to 5 and a short line, why not or why yes. So first thing is, as a 3D printing service, I'm a person. I bought a bamboo lab. I ordered a filament, and I see that Slinky Dragons are the one that is hot selling. I'm going to print it and sell it online. So what do you say to this business model?
1.5, 1 somewhere around that.
Okay.
Because I think it will be majorly, the problem will be what you are seeing, that dragon, right? There are a lot of other people also looking at it.
Right.
So either, if let's say nobody was paying attention, the moment you will get some success, everybody else will jump in. So you would probably have a momentarily success, but repeating that again will be very hard.
Yes. Because anybody with a 3D printer is your
Can do that,
competition.
yes. If it's easy for you, it's easy for them as well.
Okay. Next one, I'm a designer. So I design 3D models. I design models that are good for 3D printing, 3D printing products. So I'm a
compatible
designer.
for 3D printing.
So, but I don't do 3D printing. So probably I sell my models on Thanks, Cults, or I list it on Makerable, Printables, and Thingiverse. What do you say about these models? My customers are people who have a 3D printer and are looking for something to sell online.
2, I would say.
2. Why 2?
2.5. So it would actually, the thing is, it's all dependent on what kind of pullback you will be able to bring in your model. So the thing is, let's say if you're just randomly doing designs, there's no ecosystem that is getting built that pulls those people who have a 3D printer back to you. Because today they may like a dragon, you have a dragon, they bought it from you. Tomorrow they like a clown, they would go to a guy who has a clown design. So they will start going to them. So unless that pull is there, I think it will be at 2. Obviously, if there is a pull that they have to come back to you, it could be something like a subscription model that today you're releasing some kind of a version 1 of a puzzle, I guess, and maybe a newer, harder puzzle next month, and they have to come and purchase from you. Probably then obviously it will go probably 4 or 5, but very hard to do that if only design.
I have a little different viewpoint. I'll discuss about that. Next rating would be I would want you to rate is being a printer distributor. So
Printer distributor, okay.
Or after sales and service. So providing spare parts or providing printers or providing after sales services. Like for example, let's say if there are 4 good printers in India, consumer printers like Bamboo, Creality, Elico, Anycubic, etc. And I either take a distributorship from the manufacturers, or I become one of the after sales service agent, because a lot of people who have problems, or I become the spare supplier. There are already a lot of them, but offline printer repairs, I think only Vol3D is trying to do it, but very unsuccessful and incapable of doing it properly and at a cost worthy price. So what do you think about this?
It's a business of execution.
Hmm.
So I would take an example of Advait Hyundai. So Advait Hyundai is doing a fabulous job in terms of the services that they provide in Bangalore. So you would go in every nook and corner, you will find a Advait Hyundai service center. So it's not a Hyundai service center anymore. More or less, it's going to be Advait Hyundai service center. So if you are able to handle the operations that well, I think it could be probably, I would say, 4.5.
Okay.
Okay,
4.5.
but then that is so hard to achieve, is where the major problem lies. Because if you are not able to scale it up, I think scale it up as well as kind of do it flawlessly. I mean, from a consumer who has that 3D printer. So for him, it should be something like if he kind of writes a prompt, a generation comes back right to you. So something like that is what your service has to be. If he picks up his phone and dials your number, when he keeps the phone, his problem should be solved. It should not be that you are giving a lot of kind of gimmicks, because I have experienced with this with a lot of brands who are doing this distribution and after sales and all that. Pretty bad experience, and that is also one of the reasons why
making custom printers
became the reason. So in Lucknow we have this is how I initially had a few printers.
Okay.
And all of them are like not very usable most of the times, because they were bought with this idea that distributor will take care of, provide support and all that, but that didn't happen.
How many printers in total you mentioned you had?
So we have right now, so we do it in a modular approach. So per 250 square feet, 15 printers.
Okay.
So that is how we set up. We have right now 30 printers in Bangalore, and we have 15 printers in Lucknow.
So 45.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these are on shelves? Like these are arranged on shelves, or is it like on the floor, or how does it work?
Okay, so these printers, I mean, again, there are no shelves for majority of them. The ones which are very small like this, they are kept on a table.
Okay.
So we have got these custom tables done. So there are 4 feet by 4 feet tables. So 1 or 2 printers on top, 1 or 2 printers at the bottom. I mean, there are like 2 levels in that table. So, but nothing is on the floor.
So, okay, we were rating the business models.
Yeah.
So how much would you rate filaments, making filaments, including that investment that it takes and the testing that it is going to take? I think it's a big project, big investment to make filaments. Like
No, I don't think so. Again, I look at it at two different categories, I would say. One is a smaller scale production. I feel that can be very profitable. And the other is the large scale production, what most of the manufacturers right now are doing. So there, I think profitability wise or something, I won't be able to, because I don't know the numbers particularly. I haven't seen that internally. Maybe you need to get somebody over there what the profitability of that is. But I have a feeling that it cannot become very big, because the printers are the filament diameters and all are very standard. So I mean, there's a new guy who will keep on joining almost every day, and they will kind of keep on controlling you, and you will never be able to basically charge a premium, at least in India, is what I feel. And if you're not able to charge a premium, you could probably run a business somewhat like a textile industry kind of a thing, but you cannot become a huge brand of sorts that people relate to or tie with. I mean, they kind of cannot think of it in a way. For example, if you look at Canon, I would take that example. So you don't know them for their inks, you know them for their printers. That's what people look at. But and that is simply because and despite having the monopoly on the ink, I mean, inks are not intercompatible with different printers. Despite that also, they don't push themselves as ink manufacturer. They always push themselves as a printer manufacturer, or the product that you can see. So that is what will happen with filaments. The ones who will I feel that probably in next 1 or 2 years there will be a lot of people who will be doing exotic filaments at a very small scale. So it would be like, a 25 kg production in a day, or maybe less than that also. But it would be exact color match. It would be exact, you can say, quality specs that you're looking for. Or this would be majorly the designers that you earlier asked, right? Interiors who are doing or something like that. That's a huge industry that is going to get created, where you need, for one project, very specific kind of filament. And that's what is being built for you and will come at a very high margin. So that is one thing. That
filament, how much did you rate?
Which one? Exotic or... I mean, I won't be able to rate the other one because I cannot give you a lot of information.
Okay.
Exotic ones, I would say 4.5, 5 out of 5.
So now I realize that I'm such a beginner into 3D printing that the idea, like these all stuff still exists. I never research upon it, never did come to my own feed. Like I try to make sure like every day half an hour I just research Reddit, or I subscribe to 2-3 newsletters that tell me anything that happens new in 3D printing. But it feels like I just know only about what is like shown, like the consumer prints, the 3D models that are already online visible, people printing it, selling it is like just the surface of it. There is a total different world, and
Yes.
manufacturing is too big, and 3D printing is one of the part of it. It is not a, what do you say? It's not just everything. It is a byproduct, and it is a part of a very big thing that is
Correct,
going on. Like
correct.
there is plastic that is involved, there is
Mhm.
engineering, there is features, internet models, 3D
True, true.
designers, post processing,
Mhm.
all of that.
And the most important thing is you have to bring it down to the level of the guy who cannot read and write. Only then your business can scale.
Hmm.
Because the thing is, you will never be able to get enough engineers to work on the shop floor. So that is how easy it has to be at the end of the day. All of that engineering.
What I feel like is the
Mhm.
way the prices are going down for the consumer printers. Like probably, I don't know, like initially when probably Xerox company or the photocopying machine would have come, it would be just the elites or the few ones who could afford it. But now it's like on every other road or every other home, there is a small printer that is sitting. It is a 2D printer that prints a picture. Once this is as good as a, like Bamboo is as good as a, like a beginner friend.
Hmm.
It has a screen touch. You don't even have to worry about all that. Not even Bamboo, any good consumer company like other Eligo and all these Chinese. Prusa is the only one I think is American.
It's European.
Oh, Prusa is European. Okay, so Prusa is the only one that is non-Asian, I think. And
I think Ultimaker is there.
yeah, Snapdragon. Like who have actually like a little bit mass captured.
Yes,
So I
that
think
is
Prusa is the one that side. Rest all it's
China.
Bamboo, Eligo, and this one. So it's going to be like common that every other, someone like a Xerox shop might also have 2-3 3D printers. So you wanted a physical object, just go to the repository, give a print, take the print and go away. It's just the time, like photocopying takes 1 second, and that
Mhm.
will take the requirement. Like it's going to be so what do you say, democratized, and everybody's going to have it.
I would say it will be a little more engaged because photocopying and other industries are still much easier for the simple reason they are 2D.
Okay.
And the print media and the medium are very easy to work with. Okay, so like for example, if you are storing the paper, okay, there's no problem in storing the paper more or less. You could very easily, you could keep it for a whole year and reuse it the next day. There's no problem that you're going to face. But filament, if you keep it for a whole year and then you try to use it, so there's a whole filament drying process that you will have to go through.
So now, let's say I'm a beginner and 2026 is approaching. I'm
Mhm.
gonna come enter into 3D printing. I've seen some YouTube videos and people saying 3D printing makes money and all of that. And I take a printer, 2-3 printers. I do 3D printing services, and I end up making a farm. Is what is my plan. So what are 2 suggestions or 2 mistakes you would say one should avoid while building a 3D printing farm of FDM?
Okay, don't. That would be the first
Yes.
suggestion. That if your aim is to build a 3D printing farm or a 3D printer, it's a very bad idea. Okay, so that should not be the case. Your aim should be to build a brand, or let's say build an end product that the customer is going to purchase from you. Then see if a 3D printing is the right manufacturing process for it. And only then is when you should invest into building your own printer or a 3D printing farm. It's a crazy process. I mean, let's say when you're talking about a 3D printer, the first build may take crazy amount of time, and then the one thing is to do it yourself. That's even easier because you are the one who is controlling everything. When you have to get it done from someone else, it becomes another ball game to figure it out, because you will not keep on building the printers yourself forever. So the important thing is that do you have a product to make with that 3D printing farm? Is that sorted or not? Either you are able to partner with people who have that thing already solved for you, or you are doing some product yourself. One of the two things have to be in place, and your printers will get defined. So for example, if you're doing only large format printing, so then your printers also need to be accordingly large, and other features would be required, because building a small format printer is still significantly easier. There is still an ecosystem that exists of spare parts or the components. A lot of things you will be able to get off the shelf. The moment you go large format, then everything changes. So basically your bed can have different temperatures at different positions. Okay, so somewhere your part will separate from the print bed while printing, somewhere it may not. So, and why it is happening, in itself, it is a huge puzzle to figure out, but it takes time to fix everything. So that is going to be a problem. That is what one thing I would say. Second thing is, I would say that is related to the first point itself. Build a brand, not a farm. So the brand is going to be the primary thing that has to come up. If that is not happening, nothing else matters. So brand or a story, I would say, that is more important. I mean, brand itself has to have a story. A lot of people confuse branding with, like, I have a website, I have a logo, all this stuff. Nobody cares about that until you are Reliance or Airtel. That is where logo and all those matter. But at your level, nobody knows your logo, nobody knows your name. What they will remember is your story. So, do you have a story to sell or not? That you should figure out first. So, and that is why I say that we take both the authors and the designers equally as an equally important part of our ecosystem. Because unless the authors bring out the story, nothing else will get created. So it's the writers who are going to. I'm not saying particularly writers, but anybody who has a story, really a timeless piece that they can create, which is applicable at any time, not for a decade or a year or so. That has to come up.
Almost all of my questions are answered. Do you want to say something to the audience at the last who are going to enter into 3D printing or who are already into 3D printing?
Okay, who are going to enter into 3D printing, I think you should focus on learning how you can utilize AI. I think that is something which is so important today. Anybody who is, so I get this, I hired a lot of interns and a lot of them, like for example, electronics, they were saying that they want to do things manually. They want to learn doing things manually and all that. Same thing for animation, graphics. A lot of people, they are hell-bent on doing things manually just for the passion of it. And I understand that. That may be good, for a month, two, whatever it is. But the world is moving so fast with AI that you would probably be sort of a burden on your team. Because everybody wants to move fast and you would be slowing them down by working manually. So I think this would be my recommendation to anybody who is starting off with 3D printing, that you need to look at AI as an enabler, not a replacement. I mean, that whole discussion that happens, that you don't have to look at it, but you have to start using AI as seriously as possible. I would specifically talk about the CLI tools that have been recently launched by Google, Claude. I think ChatGPT also has come up with it. So this is something everybody should go and look at, the CLI tools and how quickly they can adapt them in their workflow.
What is CLI full form?
So command line interface.
Okay.
So basically right now how you use the AI tools is you go on their websites and you type a prompt. Okay, and then they give you an output. So whatever that output is, you then take it somewhere else, try to fit it. If it does not work, you come back and then give another prompt. So that's a very slow process because you again, as a human in the loop, are sitting over there. With CLI, that whole process gets automated. So you give it a task. No, not agentic. So yeah, I mean, you can make agents as well. That's a separate thing that is not very important that you are building an agent or not. Important thing is that are you able to automatically iterate? So let's say you give an end goal, make me a design of a lamp.
Okay.
So the your instruction should result in maybe 10 iterations. Each iteration does not require you to be in the loop.
Okay.
So that is, I think, what from an AI perspective you have to build. That you should. I mean, you can take it like this. I mean, the weakest link in any system is the human factor. So eliminate the human out of the system. So that would be the advice. Who is starting off right now? Who have already started? You asked. I guess the easiest thing to say is all the best, because I think more or less they know the story. But I would again say that if you kind of are looking still at 3D printing as what you want to sell, probably you should stop doing that. Sell something that the customers want. 3D printing could be one of the checklist features you could say at the end that your product is 3D printed, but it should be in About Us or some story, my story page somewhere over there, not the primary title on your homepage.
So today we wrapped up this session with the CEO of Barelab, Akhil Mohan. He gave us time, even though I think he travels between Bangalore and Lucknow. We got his time and he was readily available he gave us a document with all of the content and which I could research upon and read upon, because they are still working on getting it on like becoming, showing their features and offerings public. So, and plus he made time to come from another corner of Bangalore to this place. Almost the duration of this podcast is way lesser than the time he would have traveled to come over here.
Correct.
So thank you for doing this, Akhil.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you.